Hello everybody, welcome back to the Oxford Real Farming Conference. I'm Oliver Gardner for the Organic Consumers Association and Regeneration International, and I am here with Perrine Hervé Guyer from Normandy, France, who has a lot to share, an abundance to share, yes. A miraculous abundance to share. But before we start sharing what she has to say, I will ask you to pick up your phones and text BYTES, that's B-Y-T-E-S, at 97779 to get all the information you want on organic food and farming. And you can subscribe to the Organic Consumers newsletter at organicconsumers.org and follow us on Twitter at Organic Consumer. Hello, Perrine.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Perrine is from France. She's from Normandy. And she set up a farm in 2006, a farm that is 4,000 square meters. That's not very big. It's a small farm, but talk to us about the production.
Well, just to make things clear, the farm itself is 20 hectares, but the plot of land on which we are growing vegetables is indeed 4,000 square meters. Well, it used to be 4,000 square meters because since we've known about permaculture, after a few years, we tend to not grow bigger as people used to do, but grow smaller. We went back to our ancestors and had a serious look at what they've been doing and all of their successes. And we brought into the farm a lot of techniques, like the technique that the maraîchers parisiens in the 19th century, so the vegetable growers downtown Paris, used to use on their fields. And we've kind of recreated the farm of our dream, you know, the farm we all had in mind in our childhood through books, children books and stuff. You know, the little house with a thatched roof, which is the case with our house, with lots of trees, nice ponds, a little plot of vegetables here, the chicken running freely over there. So that's our dream life, dream farm.
And so you're harvesting all year long.
Yes, indeed.
And how much are you harvesting? You've developed your own market as well, and you're certified organic, and you got the certification rather early, as you were saying in your presentation this morning.
Yeah, from day one actually, because we were lucky enough to be in a valley, a highly protected valley, where no factories or no industrial agriculture could set because it's too narrow, you know. So from day one we were certified organic, and there was no question for us. Whatever we were growing for ourselves, for the family consumption, our clients should benefit from the same quality and the same labeling. Our consumers, clients, they know what we're doing. They can come to the farm, they can visit, they can take a walk in the fields so that they know it's completely safe. And most of the time they really enjoy it because we are lucky enough to be in a valley that's beautiful. I mean, nature there is just amazing. So our duty was to preserve it and even to make it even more beautiful. Our farm is a global ecosystem made of small ecosystem, and every single ecosystem is going to interact with the other ecosystem. And every ecosystem has its own techniques, improved step by step, and so that everybody can interact, and step by step we're improving the global coherence of the system itself.
You're raising a lot of eyebrows. The INRA, which is the National Institute for French Agronomy Research,
yes, indeed,
have a lot of interest in your project.
Yes.
What are they looking at?
Well, starting from 2010, they led a study at the farm, and the goal of that study was to prove that such small-scale farms could have an interest, economically speaking. So they wanted to show that on a plot of land of 1,000 square meters, this figure didn't come out of nowhere because we were inspired by the French maraîchers parisiens in the 19th century. So that was an average.
In the 19th century, Paris was self-sufficient. It was growing its own food.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's why we were so inspired by those people. They were highly technical and extremely efficient. So we isolated on the farm a 1,000 square meter plot, and we've measured everything. The time we'd spent, what were we doing when we were spending time on that plot, how much we were harvesting, how much money we would make out of it. And we've managed to prove, thanks to them, that on 1,000 square meters, you could make a decent living, whereas usually, even in organic farming, organic mechanized farming, they are telling you that you should have at least 1 hectare to make a living. So on 1/10 of the regular surface, we managed to prove that we could do it by hand, no mechanization. So it's been quite a bomb in France, I have to say. Some people at first wouldn't even believe it. They thought we had a few hectares behind our back, hidden somewhere, and all the measurements and all the data were coming from that plot of land. But no. And again, we were not the first one to say it. The Maraîcher Parisien was saying it in their own times. Even before, in years 1,300 something, Olivier de Serres in France was saying that on small, very small scale farms, they could have a very decent productivity, even when it came to wheat production. So it's amazing, but again, we didn't create anything. Well, we created the ecosystem that enables the farm to run properly. But in terms of techniques, in terms of the observation analysis, there's hardly nothing new. The new thing that we've been using, that science brought us, is the knowledge that we now have about the soil composition, the soil needs. And again, we think that if the soil is rich, if the soil is fertile, if the soil is healthy, then the plants will grow. No need to spray chemicals, to spray fertilizer or whatever. I think the problem with agriculture is that we forgot that plants are supposed to grow in soil.
Climate change, food security, pressing global issues. The UN have come out with figures saying that desertification is hitting over 200 countries around the 200 countries. It's hitting over 114 countries concerned
Which is a lot already.
By desertification. They are predicting that 125 million people will be displaced by droughts by 2030. That's in 12 years' time. So we need to act fast.
Yes.
What are the chances of scaling up and replicating your model elsewhere with different types of soil in different environments?
Well, again, permaculture is a frame. Once you've set the frame, you can use the principle wherever you are. Either you have a very arid climate, or you have lots of rainfalls. Either you have frost in winter or not. It really depends on the logic you're going to apply to the ecosystem. A peasant in Africa is the best place to know where and how its own system and its own climate works. He has some knowledge that we don't have here in France or in England. So he's the best person to be able to apply permaculture principles to all the knowledges that were passed on generations after generation. So basically it can be applied anywhere. You just have to be smart enough to adapt it to the logics and to the reality of your climate, your soil, and the winds, whatever's gonna happen to your soil and to your production. So basically, you can apply it anywhere, and not only anywhere, but on any scale. Because I'm talking about our farm, which is a small, very small farm. But you can do it on a 100 hectares farm. That's no problem. The only thing you have to understand is how you read the scenery in front of you, how you understand whatever you're doing, how you create the ecosystem. Don't try and plant salads in the middle of the desert if you haven't planted trees before. And if you plant a tree and your goats are going random and they eat the trees, then you're coming back to the starting point. So it's just common sense and logic. But I think most of the time what people have to face are either cultural truth that were passed on, and they are not actually accurate. So we have to change the minds and prove step by step that, economically speaking, it is wiser to do that way, and also it's good for the environment. So we've been leading, for instance, an experiment at the farm with a Belgian university, and they just proved last year that we were sequestering 6 times more carbon on our farm than we would be supposed to do according to the knowledge we have nowadays. We sequester more carbon on the farm than a forest that nobody would be touching does, which is amazing. You know, we have some solutions. Now we need political answers. We need money to be able to scale up. Of course, you're not going to make tremendous money out of farming, because I know a lot of investors are interested in this type of farming. Give it up. You're not going to make money, but you're going to make other things. You're going to be rich with whatever you've done for the community, for the environment, for the quality of life of the people who are here. You're going to create employment, which is not too bad nowadays, and you're going to sequester carbon. I mean, there are so many advantages. You're going to feed people good food, so for the health systems worldwide, which are sometimes endangered, it's pretty good news. So we need people to take it by hand and put money on it, put maybe regulations to say, okay, maybe we could try and put more incentive and more subsidies in this type of farming. It doesn't mean we have to kill the other farmers, the ones who are here today, because they still spray chemicals, because they have no solution today to implement different type of farming. The solution, they do exist, but sometimes it's too difficult for them. They're almost all bankrupt, so it's difficult for them to make a change by themselves. So the citizens shall also be empowered and tell the farmers who are in place, yes, you can change, and we're going to help you changing. You know, in France at the moment, it's very sad, but the citizens tend to accuse the farmers, and the farmers feel like they are guilty of poisoning the soil, poisoning the water. So there's a bit of a fight here, a social fight, and I would love a reconciliation to arise and to come, so that the citizens will tell the farmers, look, we know your job is difficult, we know you had no technical solution for some time, but now we know something else can happen and you can do things differently. Therefore, we're gonna help you, and we're gonna ask all the politics to change the policies so that this can happen. And it's possible. Come on.
You're coming out with a book. You've just published a book. So the name of the book is Miraculous Abundance.
Yes.
Where can we find that book?
Well, in any good bookshop, I guess, in England or elsewhere. You can have it online also. And that's the English translation of the first book that we wrote that was in French. And we are now working at finishing another one. So the first book was more related to the story of the farm and the philosophy behind all the thinking we've done over the last 12 years. And the one we're finishing now is going to be more a technical book. And we're going to explain all the techniques we've been using on the farm since day one. And it's quite a big one. It's 800 pages, can you believe it? So we're trying to finish it, and it's going to be released in France at the end of 2018 and shall be available in English in 2019, hopefully. And yeah, so I think after that, we will have passed on whatever we've learned, and we'll keep on working. We want to keep on improve our techniques.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I think we're calling us now. We have to leave this room.
Okay.
We'll keep up to date with what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
And keep it up.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Yes. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember, you can pick up your phones if you want to have more information about organic food and farming. You can text BYTES, B-Y-T-E-S, at 97779, and you can sign up to our newsletter on organicconsumers.org, and also follow us on Twitter at Organic Consumer. And don't forget, if you want to follow the happenings around the regenerative movement for regeneration, You can follow our page, regenerationinternational.org, and find out about how we can potentially reverse climate change with regenerative agriculture. Thank you very much for watching. Happy New Year.